In 1981, the French ski team missed an important meet. The U.S. team arrived early. And in '86, the Italians ran into a small problem. The U.S. team arrived early. For 10 years, the four-wheel drive Subaru has helped the U.S. ski team get a jump on the competition. Except in '84, when the Swedish women's team broke down. Subaru, the official car of the U.S. ski team.
Howdy, man.
Dear Dad, we made our toughest jump yet at dawn. I was kind of nervous, we all were. And then I remembered when you told me that real courage is putting your fear aside and doing your job. You see, Dad, here in the Army, the things I'm learning will help me get the most out of life and the best from myself. Dad, we were really something today. I know you'd be proud.
Be all that you can be. Get an edge on life in the Army.
Airboat. I like the sound of that.
It's Bowl Week on ESPN. The All-American Bowl featuring the Florida Gators against the Fighting Illini. The SeaWorld Holiday Bowl with Heisman Trophy winner Barry Sanders leading Oklahoma State against high-scoring WAC champion Wyoming. And the Mazda Gator Bowl, a showdown between Georgia and Michigan State in the only bowl game on New Year's Day. It's a bowl bonanza, live on ESPN.
ESPN's NCAA basketball, Indiana and Notre Dame, is brought to you by Subaru. We built our reputation by building a better car. By the U.S. Army, learn how to get an edge on life. Be all you can be. And by Nike, who reminds you to just do it.
The historic building, once known as the Athletic and Convocation Center, now known as the Joyce ACC. Time now for the starting lineups from PA announcer Jack Lloyd.
Seven and a junior from Charlotte, North Carolina. Number 5, Chucky White. At forward, 6'9", and a freshman from Chicago, Illinois. Number 32, Eric Anderson. At guard, 6'4", and a sophomore from Marion, Indiana. Number 3, Jay Edwards. At guard, 6'2", and a senior from Glendale, California. Number 44, Joe Hillman. A guard, 6'2", and a sophomore from Marion, Indiana. Number 4, Lyndon Jones. Head coach of the Hoosiers, an Ohio State University graduate in his 18th year, Bob Knight. And now, the starting lineups for your Fighting Irish. At forward, 6'9", and a freshman from East St. Louis, Illinois. Number 20, LaFonso Ellis. At forward, 6'9", and a junior from Plantation, Florida. Number 43, Scott Paddock. Guard, 6'1", and a sophomore from New Orleans, Louisiana. Number 10, Tim Singleton. A guard, 6'4", and a junior from Cincinnati, Ohio. Number 3, co-captain Joe Frederick. At guard, 6'2", and a junior from Peoria, Illinois. Number 40, co-captain Jameer Jackson. The head coach of the Fighting Irish in his 18th year, Digger Phelps.
The son of a caretaker, Digger Phelps, along with the general, Bob Knight, meeting prior to the game. Two great friends going after one another in just a moment.
You don't know how magnificent U.S. prime beef can be till you've had Ruth's Chris Extraordinary Corn-Fed Beef, served sizzling. Dining at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse is a whole new experience. So come hungry for U.S. prime beef like you've never tasted before.
Treat yourself to lunch or dinner at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in the Atlanta Plaza building on East Paces Ferry, 1 block north of Lenox Road.
I'll see you and raise.
In any game of cards, knowing how to play is the difference between winning and losing.
I'm in.
If you play them right, you stay in the game.
I'll call.
But if you play them wrong...
Let's see what you've got.
You lose.
Thank you.
If you're in debt, you can get help by calling your creditors now.
Behind every single flight one of these makes stand the 60,000 professionals of United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
The series is led by the Hoosiers 2-1. Notre Dame last won here in '84 and '85 when David Rivers was here and went wild in the second half. Tim Brando along with Dick Vitale. Happy you joined us for the first of 2 NCAA games that we have coming at you tonight. Florida and Illinois will be following from Champaign-Urbana. Hoosier fans looking forward to a much-needed victory coming in at 3-3, and the Fighting Irish are 2-0 after a healthy performance in the Big Four Classic. The Joyce Athletic and Convocation Center in Notre Dame, Indiana. Our officials are out of the Mid-America Conference. Roger Paramore, Steve Wilmer, and John Carr. The Irish are decked out in gold, trimmed in green and blue, and the Hoosiers in red, trimmed in white. Toss is controlled to Tim Singleton for the Fighting Irish.
Lyndon Jones matching up man-to-man on Singleton, who's a pure point guard.
LaFonso Ellis so very active. There he is. 2-0 Notre Dame.
He's so much bigger than Chucky White. Shoots right over the top. Excellent touch. Good post-up move by LaFonso Ellis.
Edwards, who had a poor shooting outing in the first half at the Big Four Classic. Nice move inside, but off the back iron is Chucky White.
1 rebound, 1 shot. Notre Dame is one of the better rebounding teams in America, Tim. They really attack the boards.
Frederick turned it over. She tried to drive the baseline. They were leading the nation in rebounding last year with far fewer athletes than they have this season.
Digger Phelps' basketball teams, if you check the statistics, traditionally have been a good rebounding team. Here comes that token pressure to take you out of your half-court offense.
Joe Hillman.
Indiana playing 3 guards now. Jay Edwards, Jones, and Hillman.
Looking for the give and go. Hillman finds Edwards baseline. Uses the glass. Paddock clears it for Notre Dame.
1 shot again. Keep a look at that. 1 shot again.
Singleton. Nice dish
pass
to Ellis out of bounds. Knocked away by Edwards and Hillman.
I like Tim Singleton. He really gives them a new dimension. Remember, we talked about David Rivers. Certainly not to take away. There's the penetration right now. He beats Lyndon Jones. He penetrates. He says, come on, LaFonso, give me the assist. And they pop the ball out of bounds.
And Jameer Jackson gets the inbounds pass and drops it through.
Solid athlete from out of Manuel High School in Peoria, Illinois.
4-0 Notre Dame. Just underway from the Joyce Athletic and Convocation Center. Chucky White takes it up, draws the foul from Paddock. Chucky White was truly one of the bright spots in an otherwise dreary day in Indianapolis on Saturday.
Well, he's an athlete, Tim, and against Louisville, who I believe will be heard from at the end of the year. I think Denny Crum's basketball team is so much better than a 1-2 start when they get Keith Williams back to give him some stability in the backcourt. I don't want to make Keith Williams into a Hall of Famer. I mean, he's just a good college guard, but they need a point guard so badly, and he'll give them a new dimension.
You saw White averaging just over 8 points, but he had 20 against Louisville, and when Anderson got into foul difficulty with an early fourth, the Hoosiers could no longer stay with the Cardinals.
It's very important for Indiana to be in the game at the 10-minute mark. It was blowout city against North Carolina and Syracuse and Louisville in those 3 unbelievable beatings that they took.
4-1 Notre Dame.
Horizontal screens, they switch on it. Notre Dame loves to screen across between Ellis and Paddock down in the boxes.
Frederick, that's his spot. Joe Frederick knocks it down. 6-1 Irish.
He's a solid scorer. Doesn't have great athletic ability, but he's a solid scorer. He's a half-court trap. They curl a man into the middle of the court and then try to get it to the, should try to swing it to the weak side.
Anderson. Nothing but net for the freshman, and it's 6-3.
He's going to be really a fine Indiana player.
He and LaFonso Ellis went at each other in the Indiana State Championship game a year ago. This is a very special game for both of those youngsters.
Illinois State Championship.
I'm sorry, Illinois.
St. Francis de Sales against East St. Louis's Lincoln High School.
The 2 youngsters from Marion, Indiana, Jones, along with Jay Edwards, were 2-time Indiana State champions at Marion in Indiana, and of course they're both sophomores now.
The last high school player to win 2 consecutive state championships other than LaFonso Ellis was a guy by the name of Quinn Buckner.
71 and 72 in the state of Illinois. Well, Paddock definitely wants Ellis down low. Singleton bodies up over Hillman. Ellis crashing the glass.
Oh, they're going to love him here at the Convocation Center. Look at all the baseline fans. Bobby Knight furious with Steve Wilmer, wants him for climbing the back. Ellis, a man-eater, a glass-eater. In fact, let's call these kids now. I'm giving them a new nickname. Watch him right now. Look at number 20. Is that a big-time rebounder? He reminds me of Paul Silas, Karl Malone. Look at the big fella take it to the glass. Woo! You can't get excited about that, then you really aren't a follower of college basketball.
He has that wide-eyed look about his game. You can tell he just loves playing it with a great deal of intensity.
The kind of student that he is. You ready for this? Michigan comes in here, opening day in football. The place is jammed. Where's LaFonso Ellis? In his dorm room studying.
Paddock. Oh, it could be a big trip for Notre Dame. Jameer Jackson, the jumping jack, and he's tied up.
Tim, this is reminiscent of the beating they gave Kentucky on the glass. Eddie Sutton's team really had a major problem on the boards against Notre Dame.
Indiana gets it on the alternating possession, trailing by 5. Just over 3 minutes gone at Notre Dame. Jay Edwards, that's his spot on the floor. Chucky White has his pocket picked by Paddock.
Edwards is the only true scorer on the floor. Watch the horizontal screens across the lane. They really headhunt. See Paddock right now going to headhunt. Indiana switches on it.
Jackson for 3.
They have balance, Tim. This is a different basketball team. They give you a lot of looks. Now here comes that 3-quarter trap. The sidelines are open, but you got to make something happen. You have to attack the pressure to get a basket.
Edwards drives the lane. Anderson keeping it alive. He and Ellis, and the foul against the freshman LaFonso Ellis.
LaFonso in his junior year won the state championship over a fair player who'll be coming up next on the tube by the name of Marcus Liberty. Talked to Lou Henson today, and Lou told me, he said, Marcus will be a fine player. And I said, what else is new, Lou?
Notre Dame owning the glass right now, and there is a critical recovery by Lyndon Jones. You know, Notre Dame was just waiting. They didn't go after the ball, Dick.
Well, you can throw the ball in the back court.
All right. Paddock
with
the rebound.
One shot again. I keep reminding you of that. That's a big factor if you don't get second shots.
Nice screen. Jackson has it knocked away by Edwards. And the Indiana coaching staff likes to see that from a player that's intensity has been questioned. No question about Notre Dame's lead, though, by 8.
Folks just left.
Thank you.
When a man loves a woman.
The Subaru Justy gets you anywhere you want to go, less expensively than any other 4-wheel drive car.
Mr. Potts, you're home.
Of course. What brings you out on a night like this, James?
Up to $1,000 cash back from Subaru means a great deal on a great car.
what dry was. What dry is. Introducing new Michelob Dry Beer. It's brewed longer to start bold, finish clean, and refresh completely. New Michelob Dry. One taste, and you'll drink it dry.
When it comes to TV, Americans are the world's most adoring fans and knowledgeable critics. So it's not surprising that in a nation of experts, the television of choice comes from the people who've made the most technological innovations in the industry, RCA. Just one reason more Americans buy RCA video equipment than any other. RCA, #1 with the toughest critics in the world.
The Fighting Irish of Notre Dame 2-0 coming in against the 3-3 Hoosiers. They have an 8-point lead right now. Does Notre Dame? Digger Phelps pleased to be playing the up-tempo with 11 players that no doubt will see action in the first half of play. And the storyline to this game right now, Dick, is board control, offensively and defensively. Notre Dame right now out-rebounding Indiana 8-2 in the first 4 minutes.
Well, everyone out there that plays Notre Dame better have some way to neutralize them on a glass if you want a chance to get the W.
Good pressure on the inbound. Ellis finally breaking free.
They got to swing the ball right down to Ellis, posting up here on White.
And a rejection by Anderson and Edwards as Frederick tried to get inside. He loves to pump fake from time to time. He hasn't a good outside shot, but he does utilize the pump fake, does Frederick.
He's a scorer, Tim. He has good driving ability. He's a slasher. His dad graduated from Notre Dame in 1959. Look at that cut.
Oh, and he lost it right off the shin, and it goes over to Indiana. But a nice move to the ball by Joe Frederick.
Indiana was very lucky. They did a poor job of communicating defensively. Now, here comes the trap. They're going to curl somebody to the middle of the floor. Edwards will try to curl right in the middle of the floor. Nope, he's going to the sideline. Usually they like to loop him into the middle of the floor.
Boy, early on, you'd have to give the quickness edge to Singleton over Lyndon Jones, wouldn't you, in the backcourt?
Lyndon Jones just looking to bring the ball up the court and not looking like a threat offensively, just wants to get rid of the basketball.
And another near turnover by Indiana.
Indiana very inefficient in offensive productivity because they really don't have people that are looking to the basket. They just basically want to move the ball. The only guy that thinks score is Jay Edwards. White's got the ability to score.
Jones?
He's got to shoot the ball, Lyndon Jones. That should help his confidence.
Started 15 times a year ago, but was really unproductive in his freshman season, particularly in comparison to his colleague, Jay Edwards. There's another turnover, and here come the Hoosiers down by 6. A 3-on-3 for Jones. And a foul again on Ellis, his second in the last 2.5 minutes.
Well, he got in foul trouble and fouled out eventually against St. Bonaventure. Played only 27 minutes. Little shake and bake move, change of direction, front change, takes the ball up to the goal. Fredericks rotates over. And then they get Ellis climbing the back of number 32, Eric Anderson.
If there is an Achilles heel with Ellis, it is that he has not learned the defensive scheme that Digger Phelps has. He played zone in high school.
Basically, many freshmen have a difficult time adjusting, playing away from the basketball defensively.
Frederick gets caught with a hold. Steve Wilmer tagging him with his first personal foul.
Digger will play at least 11 guys in the first half. He rotates everyone from the bench. Kevin Ellery coming in, can shoot the three-point shot, made 4 of them against Kentucky, and he can post you up inside.
Yeah, he had 15 points. As you see, also Anderson coming out of the game for Indiana. Ellery had back spasms, really didn't practice before the Big Four, and yet had those 4 3-pointers and a turnover by Indiana on the inbounds.
Have 5 seconds to release the basketball.
Bob Knight does not like seeing that.
Well, Bob Knight right now has a basketball team that plays a little bit intimidated. They feel they look like a much better team at practice than when they get on the floor in front of people.
Jadlow came into the game for Anderson, and he has it right now. Hillman.
They need some scoring, Tim, out of Joe Hillman. They need a little bit of leadership out of him. He's an experienced player.
An 11-7 game now. Notre Dame's 8-point lead cut in half. They lead by 4 with 14 minutes to play in the opening half. Ellery, that's his spot. Off the back iron, controlled to Lyndon Jones. Jones again, wide open. Tower picks it up for the Irish, and here comes Singleton in the transition game. Ellery from the same spot. Same result. Jackson is fouled by Edwards, and give Jameer Jackson credit. He's a real jumping jack, plays much taller than he is.
I believe he'll take Jay Edwards out of the game. I don't think he was happy with the effort of Jay Edwards going to the boards. If there's one thing that Bob Knight is upset with when he talks about Jay Edwards, is intensity and emotion level. He said he has to show me that he plays hard all the time. He's on the sideline as an assistant right now.
Jackson. And Jadlow rips down the rebound for Indiana. Jamal Meeks, number 23 in the game for the Hoosiers now, along with Cree Smith, number 42. And there's a steal by Singleton.
Excellent one-on-one move in the open court after making the steal. This kid is really a tough defensive player. Watch Singleton D up. Look at him D up.
Hillman works past Tower. Can't get the roll, and Robinson clears it. Keith Robinson, really the 6th man so far this season for the Irish. Doesn't hurt to have him coming off the pine.
That's one heck of a 6th man. There aren't going to be too many better than him in America coming off the bench.
Jamal Meeks got a hand on it, knocking it away from Singleton, and he'll inbound.
Keith Robinson could start for a lot of basketball teams.
There's Jamal Meeks. Now, he's another one of the youngsters that they believe can play better, and if he develops, the Hoosiers will be a team that could win some games down the stretch in the Big Ten, and another turnover by the Irish.
Meeks has real good quickness. He puts a lot of pressure on the ball defensively. He just has to make better decisions with the ball. There it is, curling in the middle of the court.
Hillman will solo, count it, and the foul.
That's the way you want to attack that pressure. I talked about it a little bit earlier, Tim. They like to curl somebody into the middle of the floor. Normally it's Jay Edwards. Take a look like Hillman curling right into the middle of the floor. That's the curl move. They enter it there, and now he splits, goes right down the gut like a halfback. He takes it up like Barry Sanders. He says, count it, baby.
But he'll win no Heisman.
I watched Sanders on TV. You know, I'm a football guy, too, and I'm going to tell you something. He was special to watch.
And, of course, he really got his first publicity beating having an opportunity to beat Oklahoma, losing that game on ESPN. You'll, by the way, see Barry Sanders in the Holiday Bowl on ESPN December 30th.
Joe Hillman's been an enigma to me in terms of scoring ability. The kid has a great touch. He's been a role player, and he's an excellent role player when you think about having stars on the floor. But right now with this Indiana team that lacks the Steve Alfords, the Keith Smarts, and the Dean Garretts, he has to assert himself and think a little bit more about scoring.
Edwards has re-entered the game for Hillman. Ellery, that's his spot. He just shifted to the other side.
That's his 3rd shot already, Tim. He's not bashful at all. He says, get me the rock, and I'm shooting the J.
15-10, Notre Dame. 12:20 to play first half. Tim Brando, Dick Vitale with you. Jadlow against Tower, and he lost it out of bounds. Well, they haven't been happy with Jadlow's play, and Bob Knight no doubt will remember that one again.
I wouldn't blame Jadlow right there, though, Tim. That was a tough pass to handle down at his knees. You got to make that good pass to the hand of the big person posting up on that box.
Singleton. That's Damon Sweet. Robinson follows, and he's fouled.
Rebounding becomes contagious. It means effort. Right now, Notre Dame, all their players, Digger's done a tremendous job of convincing them how to attack the boards. They love it. You can see they really enjoy going to the glass. I'm going to name them the Glass Eaters. The Notre Dame kids from now on to Dick Vitale will be known as the Glass Eaters. We'll have the Windex Player of the Week on a regular basis,
right.
And today we're going to give one based on early performance earlier this year. Who will it be?
As we get into December, the holiday tournaments are now on the way, some of them behind us during the Thanksgiving weekend, and of course each week on Monday nights, our Big Monday telecast, our Windex Player of the Week is a staple. Robinson at the line.
Robinson had that stress fracture. He didn't get a chance really to play here for quite a while. He came back in November, really, and just has really rounded into form. He's going to be tough to keep on a bench.
Sat out in 87, a Proposition 48 casualty. There's Tower, and he turned it over with the pump fake. 11:51 remaining. The Fighting Irish of Notre Dame lead the Hoosiers by 5.
Day after day, more people depend on Subaru wagons than any imported wagon in America. And with good reason. They're reliable and durable. In fact, if Subaru didn't make your life easier,
Honey, is dinner ready?
who would?
Up to $1,000 cash back from Subaru means a great deal on a great car.
A special report, a one-on-one discussion with one of PaineWebber's top executives.
What about CDs in today's market? Are they a good idea? We're talking with Joe Grano, president of retail sales and marketing at PaineWebber. Joe.
We believe that in today's market, CDs are a very appropriate investment, and so much so that we're offering an exciting rebate program.
Tell me how this rebate works.
Well, if a client purchases a 3-month CD through PaineWebber, we not only will provide the competitive yield, we also are going to take the profits that we make as a firm and give it back to the customer.
Well, if PaineWebber's not making a profit on these, why are you doing it?
We're doing it because, one, it's in the customer's best interest. Secondly, we are encouraging our customers to sit down with us and understand that even savings are an investment, and all CDs are not created equal.
And are these CDs insured?
All CDs are insured, yes.
How can the investor get more details?
By simply calling a PaineWebber investment executive.
Thank you, Joe. And goodbye for now from PaineWebber.
Immediately following our game, that game, Roger Twibel and Larry Connolly will be calling from Champaign-Urbana, the Florida Gators against Lou Hinson's Illini, and there's Digger Phelps. And you know, 4-11 against Indiana. I asked him about changing his style and his game, and he said, I said, in your history, you haven't done a lot of substitutions. And he said, well, in my history, I haven't had many players to substitute.
I'll tell you one thing, that guy can flat out dress. He dresses, you better believe it, on Fifth Sack. What's it called, baby, where you go shopping?
Saks Fifth Avenue.
Fifth Avenue. Bobby Knight looks like he goes to Kmart, but Bobby Knight gets a little bit more cash for wearing that sweater.
Lyndon Jones looking down low. He's back in the game. Both coaches have utilized a lot of players. We've seen a few more from Indiana tonight, really, than we anticipated.
Indiana trying to get their motion game going, screening in the lane, cutting across to the ball.
Anderson baseline, and Tower collects it for the Fighting Irish.
Tower and Paddock give them two guys physically inside who can give them 10 fouls and get on the glass. They really are what you would call good role players on the interior.
Elmer Bennett, now another freshman sensation, is running the point, dishing it there to Damon Smith. And Damon Sweet is rejected, and there's Ellery. And he picks up a foul.
Ellery's got a lot of the makeup of Adrian Dantley. Every time I see him, I think of Adrian when Adrian was such a dominant player on a collegiate level, a former DeMatha star. Ellery certainly has a long, long way to go before he's an Adrian Dantley. But the one thing about Ellery, he has confidence. He believes he can score when he steps on the floor.
He has been perfect at the line so far this year, 3 for 3 coming into tonight's game.
Tim, I know you probably weren't available at the time to see the Digger Phelps team back in 1970-71 out in the East like I did when he coached at Fordham. But you talk about run, press, and shoot. Fordham University was absolutely awesome. They had a tremendous duo at that time by the name of Kenny Charles and Charles Yelverton. And Digger played some exciting basketball. The Madison Square Garden was rocking and rolling, and that's what he's trying to return to now. He's ultimately hoping to get these kids to play that kind of basketball.
Robinson, yes, with the follow.
There's one of the glass eaters, Robinson, along with LaFonso Ellis, just chew up the glass. Aggressive basketball. There's a look at Keith Robinson going up on the boards. Nobody blocks him out. He gets inside position, takes it up strong. Anderson bangs him, and he still has the presence of mind to convert and score.
Well, Bob Knight cannot escape this. He and his staff this year, they do not have, and I'm talking about Indiana now, a true pivot player, and that's something that will bother them the rest of the year.
They don't have great athletes. They don't have the athletic ability to come out and pressure people and get back into games when they fall really behind by a big number. They have to hang tough consistently through a game. They can't get 10, 11, 12 down and expect to catch people. See, there's that little curl move. Here's the man-to-man defense. Elmer Bennett has great quickness but has struggled early out of the gate for Notre Dame.
Edwards, that interior pass from Jadlow knocked away by Notre Dame, and Tower, Indiana will control it. Talking about Bennett as you look at Bob Knight, Digger Phelps says it's just the opposite from most freshman players. He loves Bennett on the defensive end, but he just hasn't gotten in sync offensively. And the rebounding story clearly has been the story of this game. Notre Dame out-rebounding the Hoosiers by 10.
3-1. There's Jay Edwards, little one-on-one move in the lane.
Anderson clearing out, and he's hacked.
See, they're not afraid to attack you. They're going to make you pay inside to get a score.
Robinson's second foul for Notre Dame.
Is the sartorial splendor. I always tease him, Digger. You know, the news of the trade with the Cubs really affected Digger Phelps. His daughter, Karen, who my wife and I sat next to at Wrigley Field as the free throw comes up short here. Here's a little bit for you. Jamie Moyer married, the pitcher for the Cubs, married Digger's daughter, Karen, the last week of October. And now he was traded out to Texas, and she was trying to get into the TV business out here in Chicago, and now she's got to relocate down there in the Dallas area. Karen Phelps, now Moyer.
That story will be continued a little later in the show. I have one for you along the same lines where Jamie Moyer is concerned. All right, Bennett on the other end for Notre Dame. Dropping it through.
Elmer Bennett, what that'll do for this kid's confidence. That's his first deuce of the year.
20-10, 10-15 to play in the first half. Lyndon Jones left free.
I like Lyndon Jones. I think Lyndon Jones, if he gets enough minutes at the point guard position, could be the answer for Indiana as their point guard. Notice, watch the screening across the lane between Paddock and Tower. Don't go head hunt.
Tower clearing out against Anderson. Ellery actually forced that one up. Ill-advised maneuver, really, and Anderson collected the rebound.
Jay Edwards has to learn how to move a little bit better without the ball. Steve Alford was a master at that.
Lyndon Jones.
He's saying, Coach, get me some PT, General. Give me some PT. I can play, Coach. We didn't win 3 consecutive state championships because I couldn't play with Marion.
9.5 to play. Well, you can tell that Jones's defense picks up with a little offensive ability. Playing a little stronger against Bennett now.
C.J. Edwards has to work a little harder defensively. He's very passive on the floor.
Bennett over Jones. An air ball collected by Damon Sweet. And isn't it sweet?
Damon Sweet from out of Texas, along with Bennett, 2 guys that left the state of Texas to head out here to South Bend, Indiana.
They played together in the Texas High School All-Star game this past year out of Beaumont and Houston, respectively. 22-14, the Irish. Hillman again down among the trees, knocked away by Anderson, and a foul against Elmer Bennett.
I like the idea that Hillman's looking to score. You know, someone asked me, hey, how's Bob Knight handling it right now? Is he getting frustrated? Sure he is. I mean, he's a perfectionist. The man wants to win. But I'll tell you one thing, lock this up and put it away as gold. The General will be back. As sure as the Yankees wear pinstripes, you better believe that this guy, 11-5 versus Notre Dame, will be back again and have Indiana rising again to where they're challenging for a top 10 spot in about 2 years when he gets all his new players.
Well, they're 3-3, Dick, and remember, they've lost to some pretty good teams. I mean, you were talking Syracuse, North Carolina, and Louisville.
Hey, Tim, they didn't lose. They were absolutely humiliated, blown away, and Bobby would be the first to tell you that. They weren't even in a game.
But it's late November and December, and other people would tell you, hey, wait and see when we're in the Big Ten. Ellery was looking for Frederick, knocked away by Hillman.
Big Ten will be murdered this year. It'll be the best conference in America with the Big East banging on the door also. I think those 2 conferences are head and shoulders better than all the other conferences in the nation.
Ellery needs help and gets it from Paddock.
It runs in cycles, though, Tim, and there they are right here in a man-to-man. Look at Meeks. He'll play real tough on the basketball.
Ellery. Tower keeping it alive.
He's a moose, Ellery. He is a moose.
Hillman kept that one alive, and Jamal Meeks controls it for Indiana.
There's the little passing game. Pass and go away.
Chucky White, turnaround. Oh, and the iron was kind to Chucky White, 22-16.
He had a big game against Louisville. He really played well against the Cardinals.
6-point Fighting Irish lead.
Too much dribbling right now. They got to get a little bit more ball movement. It's easy to defend one guy when he's playing with the ball dribbling.
Frederick. The capacity crowd loves it here at the Joyce Athletic and Convocation Center.
They were so much easier to defend when they had David Rivers because it was just a one-pronged attack, right? Look at the way they attacked the glass. One shot again. That really impresses me.
Ellery, nice feed to Paddock. Good crossover step, knocked away by Anderson. Tower keeping it alive. Boy, the two big trees, and it's finally a foul against Tillman.
They're just too big inside. They're just too big. If we ran a matchup right now, and I'm not only talking numbers and size, I'm talking physically and wide bodies. You look at the wide body of an Ellery, Paddock inside, Tower. Look at these horses working the glass. There's the pump fake. Now look, a little ballerina right here. Tower's playing like a little ballerina. Now look at Paddock. He says tiptoes through the garden. Little tiptoes.
They're walking tall at Notre Dame with an 8-point lead.